2017, the Lake Pickett South development, coined the GROW, was deemed inconsistent with rural development patterns in the area. This will help ensure the rural preservation east of the Econlocache River is sustained. As many of you already know, the development goes against the wishes of the residents and their hopes to keep East Orange County rural. I have personally fought against this development since it was brought before us in 2015. While we stand here recognizing how community advocacy and engagement can influence major decisions, this is just the beginning. There are more plans to disrupt the environment and current lifestyle of not only the residents, but of the many native plants and animal species that have lived and flourished in the lush green spaces east of the Econlocache River. The Central Florida Expressway extension of the 408 eastbound, the potential Florida Turnpike Toll Road on State 50, and other expansions will hinder the environment. These initiatives fail to respect the requests of the taxpayers in this county, people who have invested in a rural lifestyle. We must oppose any further development that is not consistent with the land use patterns of rural and agricultural spaces. We must also ensure that the public is well informed and that processes allow for a diverse cross-section of the community to offer input. With the help of the Orange County staff, fellow commissioners, and the mayor, we can continue to ensure that the hard-working residents of this area and of all Orange County have their wishes heard. I hope the Board of County Commissioners will support and solidify the judge's order. It is now in their hands. Thank you again for joining us today. As always, please reach out to my office. We want to hear your priorities and concerns. I will continue to work hard for the people of Maitland, Winter Park, Orlando, the UCF area, Bithlo, Wedgefield, and Christmas. I represent you. I will stick around for any one-on-one questions from the media. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Yes. Commissioner Bonilla, so this has been an issue that, of course, you've been passionate about. It's an issue that is central to your campaign. What other issues are you focused on that pertain to the county? We've heard a lot about opioid addiction and abuse recently. Can you talk about some other issues that you're fighting for currently?
Yes, currently I'm working on economic growth and job development and workforce. Also, you mentioned the opioid. Yes, I am focused on that, but taking a different approach to it, more in prevention. And also I'm looking at our jail system and what we can do to help prevent reentry.
Commissioner Bonilla, do you think this will be a hard discussion to have? Because leading up to it, there was a lot of varied opinions. Many of people lived there or had any connections with it. Do you think it'll be hard to convince fellow commissioners that this is the way to go?
Well, the judge made their decision, or her decision, and it was a good decision, I believe. From here on out, it's mostly political, and their decisions is going to be based on the political atmosphere of the county and the community.
What happens if the commissioners don't reverse the approval vote now that the judge had ordered that? What happens next?
So the next step is that the developer, the applicant, or the county can appeal the decision of the judge. If that happens, it goes up to the governor and cabinet. And that's why I say it's political from here on out, because it's up to people's decisions rather than a judge's decision.
And Commissioner, this discussion today, could this result in the reversal today? Could this be reversed, or is this going to be an ongoing discussion?
It won't be completed today. This is the first step. Today we have to make a public notice to put it on the agenda for a future meeting. And at that future meeting is when we can then make a decision.
Commissioner, do you expect a lot of people in this morning? Have you been talking to people out in the area that can come in?
I was expecting a lot of people, but we'll see what happens. There's a lot of traffic right now. People are stuck in.
I'm just curious about organizing people to come in. Obviously, you were very good at that before you ran for commissioner. I'm wondering if those same skills or give you any indication of what might be coming in.
Yes, before I was commissioner, I worked really hard in getting people to the meetings. As commissioner, I reach out to everyone in the community, tell them and encourage them to come to the meetings, but it's a different position that I'm in now than I was before.
What do you think that folks in East Orange County would like to see in that spot? So they don't want to see as high density. What do they want to see?
Well, they said over and over again it's zoned 1 house per 15 acres, and that's what they would like to see it as.
And Commissioner, what's at stake if your fellow commissioners don't agree and they do decide they want to continue to see this project move forward? What's at stake for the people of Orange County? What exactly are you fighting for? If you could just speak to that again.
Well, if this goes up to the governor and the cabinet and they decide to overturn the judge's ruling, I'm afraid it'll be over for the rural area and the rural lifestyles across all of Orange County, to be honest with you. I mean, they would set a precedent.
What would you say to the people? What would you say to the people that say halting the grow would be akin to halting progress and economic development in that area of Orange County?
Well, as a constituent who was fighting this for many years, I did a lot of research, and that's not accurate. If this development is put in place, it's going to add a lot of impact to the traffic and a lot of impact to our economic development out there. So there will be more people than we have jobs for, and it's going to hurt our economy rather than help it.
And just remind people, it's right out, you say it's zoned for like 1 house per, I forget what the exact zoning is, but just a comparison, what is the grow actually developing? Just to remind people what the grow actually is going to bring to that area if it moves forward.
About 2,000 homes and over a couple 100,000 commercial square footage.
So rather than just the 1 house per, what's the percentage?
1 house per 15 acres.
Rather than 1 house per 15 acres, that would mean, just to compare it with
It'll be about 6 houses per acre.
Commissioner Bonilla, you talked about a couple of other projects. You said something about 50. Can you reiterate on those other projects that you feel like might then kind of come out for this one?
Well, after this, then any developer can purchase land out there and decide that they want to build an urban development out in the rural area.
You mentioned a few specific projects, so are they in the works already in that area?
There are no projects in the works in the area that are like this, but there are some projects in the rural settlements, and that's actually a different situation.
I guess what she was trying to get at is, suppose, you mentioned the possibility of 408 and 50 becoming essentially extended as 4-lane toll roads in Brevard County. Will you be opposing those efforts? I know that you're certainly moving forward. How critical are those to what you do?
Okay. Well, in one of the reports for the 408, or I'm sorry, I believe it was either the 408 or the 50, they did mention the grow as a reason for needing the expansion out there. If this development doesn't happen, then that expansion is not necessary. And if we continue with rural development out there, these expansions are not needed. Urban development out there and urban growth is what's pushing the 408 extension or the turnpike expansion out there. And if we continue with our rural growth patterns, then that won't be necessary. So I feel that if we have the 408 go through there, I mean, there's a lot of consequences that we're going to deal with when it goes out there. It's going to destroy the rural lifestyle out there. It's going to separate the community because of where it's going to go. It's going to hurt the environment because it's creating another bridge over the Econlockhatchee River. I mean, there's many, many impacts that it can have. And also it will encourage more growth out there, something that the people out there are against. So I'm not in support of the 408 expansion or the Florida Turnpike. The Florida Turnpike for other reasons as well, because I mean there's a lot of poverty out there, and the last thing they need is another toll road going through their area. And I've driven around, I've traveled looking at different solutions, and a toll lane within another road is really not the answer, and it doesn't work in other areas. So I don't see it working here, especially in an impoverished area.
And what's it say to people if the grow goes through? What's it say to people who actually buy in a rural area, don't want to be 2 feet from their neighbor's house? What's it say to them? I mean, there's no guarantees. What's it say to those people who want to actually purposely buy into a rural area, but then hey, we can expand right into you?
Well, that's one of the reasons why the people in this area have been fighting these urban developments, because people move out there for a certain lifestyle. They like this space, they want this space, And having a development come in where you could just, and I say you reach out your window and you can shake your neighbor's hand through their window. I mean, that's not the lifestyle that they moved out there for.
And who brought this up to the judge once this was originally approved? Was it you or someone over?
Yes, so I was part of the original group who brought this petition to the judge, and I had to drop out after I became a commissioner because it just was odd me suing myself.
Do you think that your commissioners, your fellow commissioners, will agree with you? Do you think that they're going to side? I mean, this was a close vote when it happened. It was 4-3. So, and even the mayor voted against both link Pickett projects. So, what do you think will happen?
Well, I feel that the very first meeting after I got elected, I brought it up to rescind the motion. And Clark said that his position hasn't changed, so he seems from that conversation that he will be for rescinding the motion. The mayor's also said that she's never agreed with the development, so I feel that she would also be in support of rescinding. And Commissioner Thompson, she begged Siplin at that meeting to rescind the motion, so I feel that she would be a strong advocate for it, based on the words that she used at that time.
So you feel optimistic about?
At least the three of them I feel optimistic about.
So just to clarify, today is just to put it on the agenda for the day. It's not for us to have, is it to have a full-fledged discussion as well in the meeting?
I don't know what kind of discussion will happen today, but the goal for today is to have a public notice that at a future date, preferably the 29th, that we will discuss the motion and make a motion at that time.
And how many votes do you need to get that public notice put out there?
There's actually different ways I could accomplish it. We'll see how it goes in the meeting.
What is the impact of the grow on you and your family?
I feel, well, we won't have our rural style of living. They're trying to show the grow as being this wonderful agricultural community. The types of homes that they're proposing to build out there are not the style that we want in our rural area. The impact, the schools are overcrowded, the roads are overcrowded, the water, we don't have room for this growth. We don't want this
and
growth.
We're concerned about the Econo-Lockahatchee River, and it's such a necessity for our lives and Orlando's lives that it's going to be affected greatly by the developments.
Yes, we are also concerned the more people that move in our area, the crime rates are going to grow. The animals are being killed that are coming out of the woods being forced out of their habitat. And we just want to continue fighting. We want our rural lifestyle, and we're not going to give up until there's absolutely no other choice for us. But we will continue fighting our community. We're very strong.
What does it mean to you for if the grow does go forward? You moved out there for a specific reason. What does it mean for people like you that if the grow goes forward and it basically means nowhere is safe really for someone to have this lifestyle you guys are basically invested your lives in? What does it mean for that?
Go ahead.
Well, I'm looking at the road situation for us I'll be going to Titusville to shop, I guess, because going into Orlando will be impossible. They say they're going to help improve the roads, but with that impact of people, the roads are going to be enough again in no time. So transportation is going to be an issue with us.
We do go to Brevard County to shop frequently now, even going up to our Publix grocery store 7 miles away, which is our closest grocery. It takes us sometimes 35 minutes to get there. We go to Brevard County usually now. We go and park and shop in their neighborhoods because we get to Titusville and back home quicker than we can to the Publix up the road from our homes.
Daisy Morales, Soil and Water Conservation District Supervisor. For 27 years, I'm a resident of the east side
to
of Orange
support
County.
our commissioner, Emily Bonilla, in making sure that the east side stays rural and that we have no development that will impact the quality of life of the residents of the east side of Orange County.